TV. Hey, I hope that you are ready for a real inside look on what I do, how I do. We're going to take you inside the loop, give you some money tips, some health tips. We're going to show you how to live your best life each and every day to this highest potential. Just follow me. We're going right into it. Hey, it's Derick Gant, and I am here with the Coach Dawn Johnson of the Dawn Johnson Experience. Coach Dawn works with a huge number of people that really need to change their mindset, crush their limiting beliefs, and elevate their game. Coach Dawn,
Hey.
thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. This is super exciting.
It is COVID season. You know, most of these interviews are on Zoom or StreamYard, but I was lucky enough to get you to come in studio, right? My illustrious corporate office.
Yes, here in the 419.
Here in the 419, all the way from Minneapolis.
Yes.
Right? So tell us a little bit about yourself. What should we know about Coach Dawn Johnson?
Well, Coach Dawn Johnson has basically launched in this field of life coaching and mindset coaching after spending, 2 decades in corporate America. And I like to say 2 decades in corporate slavery, basically. And like many of us and many of my clients, after 20 plus years, you figure out, you know what, I am truly, a square peg in a round hole. I don't belong here. This isn't my passion. This isn't my joy. This doesn't allow me to leap out of bed at night. What else is there? And so I transitioned out of corporate America in 2018, and then I went on my journey, my self-discovery journey.
Okay.
50 some odd years old.
I was going to say, you just decided to find yourself after a while.
I decided, but when you are, like many of us in the trenches of motherhood, raising children, corporate America, I mean, that was 70 hours a week on top of being a single mom of 3 young boys. I was always on the grind and the hunt for someone else. Okay?
Excellent. Not someone else, something else inside of yourself.
Something else inside of me after, you make that decision to leave corporate culture.
Got it.
Then it's that thing. And we all have that thing that we desire to do, but life gets in the way of doing those things.
It does.
Okay, so
bills, kids, spouses.
Yes, real stuff gets in the way of what you were divinely, meant to do on this planet.
Excellent. Okay, so we had Coach Dawn here, not just because it's Women's Month. International Women's Day was the other day. Women's Month, the whole month of March. But it doesn't hurt to have a high-powered, high-energy female entrepreneur on to answer some of the questions and things that we all want to know on our lives on how to be 24K. So my first question for you is, when you look at your initial experience, share with us the transition mindset-wise from corporate America, like why did you decide this does not work for me and I need to do something different? And then how did you find what you're doing as the thing for you to do as far as your purpose is concerned?
Well, first of all, most of us know all along, when something is not, for us. And so once I moved out of that corporate space in 2018, I knew there was some definite healing that I needed to do. Because there was damage. As a Black woman that spent 20 some odd years in corporate white spaces, there's trauma there. And there's trauma there due to microaggressions that I actually didn't even realize, because you get so used to being the only Black person or person of color in white spaces.
Microaggressions? Yeah. Is that like little small cuts?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, constantly. I mean, and it's constantly, and it's not just internal within the organization that I was a part of, but it was also when I left the office and interfacing with my clients. It's, and I'm in Minneapolis, not a hugely diverse area. And so it was almost like I was this individual with three heads every time a black woman showed up to do work and to handle her business. It was like, oh my God, how did you get this job? And oh, and it's the old clench my pearls. Like, oh, well, I didn't expect you to show up. Oh, you didn't sound like a black person over the phone. I'm like,
Right.
oh, wow. And so when I show up, and when I've shown up for all these years, it was like I had to, be someone else. I had to be someone else. And many of us as black people have to actually, code switch when we're in corporate spaces. So again, so much trauma.
Now, wait a second. Now,
Yes.
code switching.
Yes.
Now, you said this before to me.
Yes.
In passing, like on a call or coaching call or personal call or whatever, but it's something that you said that was commonly known in, did you say the nonprofit world or just the corporate world?
No, code switching, period, is what black people do when they're in white spaces.
Okay.
We are not able to bring our whole acceptable selves to work. Blackness in corporate spaces, is not acceptable, and we've had to learn to assimilate. We've had to change our hair, dress differently, and all of these things are indoctrinated from the time we go to college and graduate to, showing up for my first corporate interview, where it's no, Dawn, you can't wear your hair in braids. No, Dawn, once you get the job, then maybe you can bring some of that, authenticity or blackness. Because again, white spaces have policed black hair.
Okay, so let me ask you this way, just to make sure I'm clear, and more importantly, to make sure everybody else is clear.
Okay.
So, I used to call it wearing a different mask. So is it the same difference? Like, you act a little bit different when you go to church than you do when you're at the club or when you do on your sports team. Like, I used to swear like a sailor playing sports, but I went to church and obviously never swore. So, it's kind of a different deal. Now, I understand you're talking, tensions as far as race type things are concerned, but just in general, code switching is having to put on a different face for different circumstances.
Different face, different actions, different voice.
That all goes with the mask.
Sure.
Okay.
And I will honestly say there are some different nuances that black men have in code switching over, black women. I mean, black men automatically, you're a threat.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
6'3".
If you change
dark.
your voice inflection in any way, there's a white woman that's going to grab her, that's going to clench her pearls and feel threatened. And the same with me. And then the labels that are a part of this journey, because again, I don't think white women get to be called aggressive if they.
That's true.
So it's just a part of how black people have had to embody, all of these negative labels, and all the labels are negative compared to our white counterparts doing the exact same thing.
Life is tough, but you're ready to do anything possible to make it better. The key is you have to zone in on exactly what it is you want. And then you have to put all of your energy into that. I wish I could tell you it was easy, but it takes immense dedication, determination, and focus to really get what you want. But when you fix your focus, you fix your family, you fix your fitness, and you fix your finances. Now let me tell you, money is just the doorway to your success. The real focus is on your pathway. So we'll plan a path that will help you to elevate your life so that you can become the absolute best version of yourself. And then everything else falls into place. Are you ready?
Okay, so I took you off path asking you the question. So is that how you is that something that triggered you to get from the corporate world to decide that you need to do something different?
Well, toward the end of my career, I said, F that. I'm going to be my authentic self and bring my entire self to work.
Okay.
And at least that was more palatable, more manageable for me to navigate because I was being my true self. However, still truly didn't show up well for me in corporate America. So once I left corporate culture, it was super dope to just be free, just to have the opportunity for the first time in actually my adult life that I went inward to deal with my stuff, where I became the actual priority. I became the star of my movie. And so as I was unpacking that trauma, because I really didn't realize it, because when you're so close to something,
Right.
you become comfortable and used to, well, this is just the way it is.
Okay.
And so being away from that environment and that oppressive culture,
Mm-hmm.
I had the opportunity to, reimagine and redefine what culture looked like for me as an entrepreneur, as a Black woman business owner, and how I navigated and run my business.
Okay.
And so part of that was, again, healing and understanding what was it that was, causing these limiting beliefs. What was going on inside of me that I truly needed to unleash. And through that process, I was able to, I'm able to help others as I went on this 2-year journey of healing. And
Okay,
that,
so it was 2 years from when you left to where you are now?
correct.
Okay, so I am certain, because of my own personal business for the last 25 plus years, that there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that want to make that switch. They want to go from enslavement and capturement, indentured servitude, to, being personally free, obviously on their way to financially free. So, what would you recommend to someone, and since it's National Women's Month, or is it Global Women's Month, whatever it is, let's just say, what would you recommend to, and I'll do the men, you do the women. Okay. What would you recommend for a woman, and let's do single mom, and then let's also do, maybe married mom. What would you recommend that they do to serve up the opportunity to go from corporate to entrepreneurship, or to some other field that might better suit their needs, their passions, their heart? How would you serve up to say, okay, this is what, in general, I mean, everybody's situation is different, but in general, this is what I think you need to start to think about, do from a mindset perspective, from a family perspective, because people don't like change. I mean, even kids, they get used to a certain thing. So what would you say?
This is Mary. She understands the importance of a strong root system. So when Mary lost a tooth, she went to Frankel Dentistry to replace it with a dental implant. Its titanium root is precisely placed and naturally fuses with her jawbone over time for a permanent replacement that's as strong as it is beautiful, just like her smile. Because making you smile is what we're all about.
Well, the number one thing, and it applies to all of us, is that I hired a coach.
Okay.
Okay, and I went on to a conference. John Maxwell, who is a major leader in teaching leadership,
Right.
teaching training, teaching.
So this
coaching.
is why you're still at the company, or after you?
No,
left?
this was after I left.
Okay, no, we got to talk about, like, you're still there,
Okay.
and you're like, I got to break out of these chains. What do I need to do? What do I need to start to prepare myself for that strategy?
Well, depending on how many hours in a day you carve out your time to focus on your mission, your vision, and really start exploring what, excites you, what makes you happy, what makes you feel good, what are you good at, what are your strengths, and again, hiring a coach or having a guide, someone who is actually doing what you want to do, and being mentored by them. And this is something you can do after you put in nobody puts in 40 hours a week anymore. After you finish your 50, 60 hours in your day job, you've got to carve out some intentional time to start exploring what else is there, and start planting the seeds, start building that foundation, start learning. You may have to actually learn a whole different trade, and, taking some classes, taking some online courses, to get yourself better prepared and educated to make that big leap. Clearly, my leap was a big shove, but to others, it can be that big leap, but definitely prepare yourself, start saving your money, start cutting, some bills, so you can set yourself up to not be stressed out financially as you're making this transition and this move.
Excellent. I love it. That's great advice.
Now, you want to live a great life? You have to own every decision and choice you make. Don't blame other people for the things that you've done, the places that you are. We all have free will, and it is our responsibility, our duty to own the good, the bad, and the ugly. When you take radical ownership for yourself, for your decisions, and for where you are and where you're going, nobody else has power over you. Nowhere else can hold something over your head that says you can't, you shouldn't, you won't, or you can't give your power away by saying you told me to. Own every decision that you make, and that will lead to an immensely powerful life.
Now, on the coach side, is that the kind of work that you do as far as helping people find their true selves, if you will, their personal truth, their purpose, their mission, their passion, so they can reach out to you and say, hey, I want to be you?
Well, I have had people that actually came to me with that exact thing. I was doing a healing session over Zoom during COVID in April, and there were individuals that showed up like, I want to look like that. How do you have that like inside glow thing? I want that. Mm-hmm. So as you are, doing your work and walking, the walk, it shows up because it's inside out healing. Healing doesn't begin by anything that is outside of you. And when I got so entrenched in, being self-aware, being, trusting myself in this process and really believing that this is what I was meant to do. And it started showing up just in my whole being. It's like you start manifesting and drawing in to you what you're supposed to have and who you're supposed to be. Once you have the momentum and start at least moving, even if it's one step, put one foot in front of the other, just making that move.
Excellent. So what about your interpersonal family, like the kids and your significant others? I mean, going inside yourself is a big change. I mean, learning who you are, it takes some me time, and most people like yourself have people they're responsible for, mm-hmm. or that are depending on them in some way, shape, or form, and also like terrified to not show up as mom or wife or girlfriend or whatever. So how do you deal with that change? I'm assuming it was a change. Was it a change?
Well, absolutely it was a change,
Okay.
But and again, as you go inward, and you can go inward and do your healing and still be a mama, still work, do everything you need to do. However, it's intentional focus and time on self. And as a busy mom, and it's hard to do that. And like I said, it took me actually being removed from the corporate space for the first time ever to actually focus on self-care and to focus on making me an actual priority. Because when you are a woman, when you are a mother, it really is everybody else that gets all of your time before you. We're usually last, right? We're usually last to pour anything into ourselves. So once I started doing that, everyone around me took note. Like, because again, as you change, as you evolve, as you heal, you can stop generational curses and trauma within your family can stop right there with you once you start to heal. And then everything else starts to actually look different because you're actually different.
Look different
inside.
To you or to the kids?
No,
to everybody.
So first of all, everything starts with you. It starts to feel and look differently for you. And again, happiness is contagious. Who doesn't want to have like a dope inner light that just like is like bursting through you?
So you were better with the kids. They saw that. They
Yes.
were able to absorb that.
I was a much better human
Okay.
coming out of the 70-hour work week of the corporate America grind. Completely different human.
Okay. And they gravitated towards that, obviously.
They absolutely inhaled it. And
Okay.
I've got 3 kings that said that nobody had a better winning year in 2020 than their mother.
Excellent. But it didn't happen overnight. It took you a couple of years to get your feet and
Yes.
grounded and
Yes.
move forward. Okay.
Yes.
So, sounds like to me, if I could sum it up, that you need to identify what you're looking for, what you want, who you are. You need to hire a coach, find somebody that can help you, walk you through, see you through the good times and bad times. You know, I like to say, you know, the people that I coach, I give them shortcuts, you know, because at a certain point, you know, you're over 35, you're over 40, nobody wants to start at ground zero. So you hire a coach, they help you to pick up the pace a lot faster, give you some insights as to where you want to go. What I also heard you say was you take your family into consideration, but not to the extent that as you blossom and grow, they don't understand that, they don't see it, they don't flow with that. And actually, most importantly, they benefit, right? They benefit from your personal growth because
Absolutely.
you're a better person.
Yes. Everybody benefits from your healing. That's why, you know, in this world, if everyone went inward and started on their true healing journey and living a more authentic life, it would really heal the world, one person at a time. We all have to take that response. Actually, I believe we all have the responsibility to heal and deal with our stuff and like really do that inner work.
Yeah, I mean, people would be so pissed off and mean and flipping people off in cars and grocery
Correct.
stores and cutting.
Correct.
You know, if we were all better.
If we were all better.
I agree.
And so yes, hire a dope coach. Sometimes it takes a couple, you know, maybe you need a business coach and you need a person who can connect with you and meet you where you're at to offer up those shortcuts.
It's true.
You know, to be able to see, you know, and help pull that greatness that's inside of you. And so that's one of my gifts. And on top of it being a gift, I freaking love it.
That's awesome.
And that is the
Hello to quality time at Marco's. Hello to being a game changer, an original. And to those who make it authentic, we say hello with the Founders Select Pizza, Old World pepperoni, sliced Italian sausage, mushrooms, on dough made fresh every day, and a sauce from the original Gianmarco recipe. Hello to an Old World original. Every store, every day, the Italian way. Hello, Primo.
All right, one more question.
Yes.
Like to me, always one of the most important questions. Top 3 questions. Got to talk about the money.
Mm-hmm.
So you went from corporate America. You started your own business. It took you a little bit of time. You invested in yourself. You found yourself a coach. You went to a couple programs. You got your stuff together. As you began to add clients to your repertoire, you know, well, let's skip that. Why don't we just talk about right now, like, where do you generate most of your revenue? What clients? Is it individuals? Is it corporations? What is the most work that you do, and how does it manifest itself in your life?
Well, right now it is, I have small business clients
Okay.
that I coach wellness weekly. I have we can call it a podcast or a webinar where I do weekly wellness with another wellness coach, life coach. And I do group coaching and one-on-one coaching. And so for me, it's been the success of, referrals, right? As you work with and heal one individual, it has taken off, in that way. And then optics, putting yourself, in positions to maybe do some things for free. Be a panelist in an area that you're passionate about. Be able to show up on other individuals' platform and you guys support each other. And through this new virtual world, you can dang near be anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so as you have that level of exposure, because I have clients that are not just in Minnesota, I have clients, everywhere through this virtual space that we have. But yes, it is, one person, because it only takes one to get your business started, right?
Right.
And then, it starts to flow as you start to grow. So the money, eventually comes. That is not, I know you're the money coach and the money guy.
Yeah.
It's not my number one focus. My number one focus is healing and doing the work and helping my clients being their best selves. And that's where you manifest and the money comes.
Absolutely. I don't disagree. Money heals a lot of wounds.
Yes. I mean,
all right, listen, she's
does.
being modest. Let me tell you, okay? Let me tell you. What she did on accident or purpose, whatever it happened to be, was that she ended up talking to an individual who ran a nonprofit organization. That relationship landed her in a position to coach everybody, all the staff at the nonprofit, which led her to coach the executive director, which led her to have the executive director refer her to another organization, which led her to coaching that organization. So it is the healing and the giving. And then she did say referrals, but she was being really gentle and politically correct with it. But, it's showing up and doing the work. You can show up, but if you don't do the work, you're not going to make the impact in your life and other people's lives. So when you do show up, you got to be ready to bring it. You got to be prepared, and you got to know your worth, right? You got to know your value.
You definitely have to know your
Who
worth.
had you raise them rates?
Yes. And so, yes.
Money coach.
The money coach did recommend that, just maybe. So the price of the cost of working with Coach Dawn Johnson in 2021 did go up.
Yep.
However, the value and the just the impact of hiring a coach that really gets you, is able to connect with you in all areas of your life. I mean, my corporate background, I will say, did set me up very well to deal with all people. I mean, I have white clients and black clients. I have male and female clients.
I deal with all clients too, just not the stupid ones.
Well, and so what I would say, anyone that is ready to go on this journey of enlightenment and wokeness, or some of the other buzzwords that are out there right now, is the best decision you can ever make.
Absolutely.
For yourself.
All right, I'm Derick Gant, and I'm so happy you decided to join us. It is National Women's Month. We brought one of the hottest, brightest women on the planet to bring you some inside information on how you can elevate your life today, tomorrow, and forevermore. Thanks for tuning in.
Be well.